What's going on, Internet? Welcome to ARFCOM Review. Me and Paul would like to welcome you. We are doing a review on the Rost Martin RM1C. We are joined here by Jerah. She is our other shooter for this review, and we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. The most interesting thing about this that might catch your interest is this is made right here in the Lone Star State in Dallas, Texas. And
on the slide.
It is very rare to see a actually domestically produced gun where everything about this is here in the good old United States of America, and specifically here in the great state of Texas. So before we get into it, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Today's title sponsor is TNVC.com, your source for good old-fashioned, all-American night vision, just like Mom used to make.
See at nighttime. Nighttime seeing is important. Don't you want to see things? Seeing things is better. What's so wrong with you? You don't want to see things. TNVC.
And by Vault Pro, proudly manufacturing the finest American-made safes, vault doors, safe rooms, and storm shelters. When you buy from Vault Pro, your safety, security, and privacy is their only priority. Vault Pro has never and will never release your information to another party. And by PWS, now offering their advanced BDE suppressors in 4 caliber options, 7.62, 9mm, 22, and 5.56. These suppressors offer revolutionary sound control, all while remaining lightweight and tough. Easy to clean, easy to install, and easy to maintain. These suppressors will make shooting even better than it was before.
In a very, very, very high level, we're looking at 50,000 feet. This is a polymer frame striker-fired pistol. Oh my God. Yeah, I can already hear the rumbles.
The comments.
But we're going to talk about it. First time I picked it up, after rolling my eyes really hard after being handed it and described it, it was very different. We had a range officer when we were shooting that was like, weird is just different, not weird. Don't think that it's weird. You're just not used to it. And I was humbled because after I started shooting it, I was like, yeah, this isn't that weird. This is, he was validated after a couple rounds of shooting. But it's interesting. It's in the Glock 19 form factor. What's interesting about this and being domestic is that the MSRP on this guy is $459. I did some digging for you guys because this isn't Googleable yet as of the recording of this video, but I think it's going to be coming in at about $420 to $430 when you're actually able to buy this guy. But sub $500, really sub $450, puts it in a really interesting space for the feature set. It's Glock 19 in pattern, like I said before, but it takes CZ75 mags. These are Metgar mags. It comes with 2. It's a 15-rounder and a 17-rounder. It's like if a PDP and a Glock had a baby, and then that baby, what'd you say, had a hotter cousin?
Oh, yeah. It's like the Dagger's hotter cousin.
Yes, the Dagger's hotter cousin. That's basically where this guy sits. I think the manufacturing quality on it was actually really nice. You don't get like the weird creaky noises when you rack the slide.
Nope.
Trigger was nice and clean. All of the ambi controls were really user-friendly, I guess. They were ergonomic is the term they typically tend to use. The trigger, despite it being striker-fired, was only 4.5 pounds. We measured it. They said it was 5.
It was like 4 3/4.
Yeah, it was like 4. I guess you're right. The lowest was 4.5. The highest was like 4 3/4.
It's pretty consistently like what, 4 pounds 12 ounces.
Yeah.
You guys really got geeky with that.
Yeah, we did. We did.
It's a sub 5 pound trigger, guys. Like,
It does have MB everything. You have a magazine release and slide release. You do have 1-dot sights here. You have a blacked out rear sight for iron sight users. And a red white dot in the front, and it is optics ready. Specifically right now, it's a plate system, so grumble as you want in the comment section, but this is coming with an RMR plate, I think, from the factory. They plan to come out with other plates. This was interesting. It's an ambi gun, I think, is on a high level. If we had to talk about what I think use case might be, we talked about first-time gun buyers. You teach a lot of people how to shoot. I don't teach anybody except for internet trolls about guns. But Jerah, for those of you that don't know, is a firearms instructor. What would you think? Like, if I come to your class and I brought this guy, who do you think I am, and who brings this gun to your class?
I think beginner shooters definitely would bring this to the class. I think that's the market that this gun is really going to speak to. First of all, I think all guns should be ambi. I mean, I just think it's just the way.
There's some lefties out there that are like, preach, girl,
yes,
preach.
I know. Testify, take it to church. That's what they're saying. But I think that this is, with all things considered, right? Price point, features, you're going to get a bang for your buck, literally, with this gun.
Yeah.
So I think I would definitely recommend it. The more I shot it, the more I liked it. There's just a couple of little minor things that I would tweak, but overall, I think that there was a lot of thought
Yeah.
put into this release.
We're probably just under 500 rounds, probably, for the gun total. We all shot it. We also let Baby Bobby shoot it in the back. And Taylor shot it as well. Through all of our hands, we didn't have any malfunctions. We do have it currently pimped out with the Trichicon RMR and the Surefire XC2. It got dirty. I will say this. We shot it a decent amount. One of the big things that actually impressed me quickly, I try to do a lot of magazine changes. I try to think, like, if I'm carrying this for concealed carry, Glock 19s are kind of designed for that, like, I don't want to call it a do-all, but like a general purpose pistol. This is big enough for me to be like a home defense gun. It's not going to recoil a lot. It'll have a higher magazine capacity, but just small enough that I can start to consider it as a concealed carry pistol, either on the body or off the body. And it, as the children would say, yeets the mags out.
It does indeed.
They come out with some
impressive.
authority. Yeah.
You don't even need gravity.
Yeah.
You can do it
all.
upside
Not at
down,
all.
I think.
Yeah. It's like a goodbye. But it was pretty interesting. I both sides of it. I shot it both left-handed and right-handed, both two-handed and one-handed, and with gloves. And I didn't have any issue under any of those conditions manipulating the pistol. In general, and we have the Echelon, the PDP, Glock 19, and then the Hellcat Pro on the table, just because these things made sense in this discussion. All of those have completely different ergonomic choices. Nothing about the gun got in the way of marksmanship fundamentals.
No.
And we complain about that all the time.
Well,
like if gripes come out.
It kind of brings me back to when we were talking about the Echelon. So this was a gun that I picked up and shot, and I didn't think about something that was annoying me or bothering me. That happens a lot when we get a gun. We're like shooting, and we're like, I like this, but this is annoying me, or I hate that sight, or I don't like this.
Yeah.
Again, like the Echelon, I picked it up, shot it just fine. Started mag dumping, non-caffeinated mag dumping at 9 this morning, and I didn't have any issues. I do think it's just a little bit slimmer than like the 19, which is why you'll see like the slide kind of stick out over it. But it's a nice thick enough slide. It has really nice screws that we liked.
Dude,
you
I'm gonna
went
have
ahead
a
and
whole like preach about
Take
these
us to church,
gripsters.
friend.
But,
I'll have a discussion about that in a second.
the trigger's nice. It's not gritty.
Yeah.
Clean break. I don't know. You can have this cool lanyard.
There is a lanyard.
It's got the little indicator, the striker indicator. It's got all the features that you would want. Comes at a low price point, and it's made right here in Dallas. So I think a lot of the people in the comment section is going to be like, great, again, another striker fired pistol. But we're starting to get to those. The price of it. It's a bit more expensive than a dagger. It's probably in that Taurus GX4 price range, but made here. So I think there's a lot of buyers in that price range, right? Like you were talking about people getting into it. Maybe they want to share it with their significant other. Or if you are going to get into firearms, like you're not going to start out buying a Staccato or some Gucci gun for a couple of grand.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, get
Buy
out to the
ammo.
range and try a bunch of stuff, because watching the thing online doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like it. But it is going to be launching with a couple of manufacturers' holsters, because that's the thing that I do dislike often when we review a gun, we really like it.
Then
I
you
can't carry it. What's the point, right? I guess collectively our only gripe was the texturing's a bit too smooth.
Yeah, you're very much like, I just want it to hold my hand, like a gentle, like first aid kind of handhold.
Just a gentle.
Yeah, he's a hurt me daddy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And all of us collectively, despite our part on that spectrum, thought it wasn't grippy enough.
Right. So I mean, on a hot summer day, it's gonna be a little bit harder to control. You're definitely gonna want to put some tape or a Hogue grip on that
or something like that. Yeah, I think it's in a lot of it. I think it might have to do the early G2 series of pistols with Taurus had the exact same issue where they had great like little grip pads and then smooth spaces between them all. If you look at the Echelon's a really good example of that it wraps all the way around the grip. The PDP has the same thing. Baby Bobby's custom homemade stipple job here has an all the way around.
You
the
could
grip.
exfoliate with that in the shower.
Oh
You
yeah,
can.
That's pretty magical. But this lacks a lot of that up here, and you have a lot of surface area that your hand ends up contacting. If you're using proper two-handed thumbs forward grip, you shouldn't have an issue shooting it. But in adverse conditions, this will matter. Under fatigue, I think this will matter. And I think that if there's something to improve, immediately that kind of jumped out at me that I was like, hey, This needs to hold my hand with a bit more, I did like the slide release. It's smaller. It's not. I will always continue to brag on that Echelon one because it's a shelf. But this didn't get in the way. On the last round, it held open. We didn't have any issue with that with these beautiful CZ75 mags that this thing comes with. But it also, on a loaded magazine, when you're putting it in there, it was very easy to actuate. Between the trigger and between racking the gun and the slide serrations and reinserting magazines and extra, all of the gun handling things, I forgot I was shooting a new gun. And
Yeah,
that's
you're
what
going
was
to be
cool
able
about
to.
it.
You're going to be able to take this gun through an entire journey of training.
Yeah.
A lot of people will they'll go the cheaper route, right? Because they're like, I'm just getting into this. I'm going to do intro to handgun. But you could take this through intro. You could take this through, intuitive defensive shooting.
Sure.
Move and shoot, draw from holster. You're going to get a lot of life out of it, I think. And if it doesn't, continue to be your gun, it's going to take you a minute to graduate out of that and want something a little bit more Gucci.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What I really liked, and you talked about this, there was like a lot of thought put into how they put this gun together. There's certain features like the striker indicator on the back or the loaded chamber indicator that are like indicative of guns like geared towards people that are newer shooters, but they didn't put a frame mounted safety on it, which I was like, again, louder for the people in the back. You don't need one.
You don't need one.
Yeah.
You don't need one. I get the idea of, to me, it's just a false sense of psychological security at that point. If you're responsible with your gun, you store it safe. You actually train and practice every day, dry fire at home. You're not going to need a safety. You're good.
Yeah. It does have the little like dingus safety thing, the little blade here thing, which is should make it easier to make it more drop safe. There's a more slender. It does taper on the slide, so unlike Glocks, they're a little bit more straight walled. The Gen 5s, they did a better job of this with tapering the gun. It'll make for you can see it kind of on the front of the gun. It'll make it easier for reindexing into your holster, taking off and shaving off some of the material on the slide as opposed to just having a straight block. Also takes weight down. It's also slightly tapered. There's like a bevel in the mag well, which should aid. It's not dramatic, so don't be disappointed when you flip it over and it's like a Spectre comp. It's like this big old chunky thing added on there. Without increasing the thickness of the grip, they did add a little taper, but there was all these tiny things on there.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Did this feel like a budget gun?
No, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And you can start with it straight out of the box, and then it's already ready for you to graduate to, putting some extra love on it. If you want to run that red dot or if you want to have that light at the bottom. And I just think my favorite feature on the gun, period, is the ambidextrous mag release.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think that was a really thoughtful,
And
especially
it's a good
given
one.
the price point.
A
No,
lot of times
not at all.
they have to do something weird mechanically internally with these, where they'll either rotate or they have to be like a paddle. This is a standard button press magazine release, and it was really good on both sides. And
Right.
again, like I said, it yeeteth the magazine out of there.
Yeeteth.
But screws for optics mounting on pistols.
You can see them from space.
Dude, these
They're
things suck from every other manufacturer I've ever seen. When they come out there, they typically suck. They end up getting... There's an entire industry behind fixing things that come from the factory.
There's a whole Reddit thread on this.
That specific part. Your optic can be incredibly quality. The pistol's incredible quality.
Yeah.
They did a good job with making sure that it fits and all that. And the screw sucks.
Doesn't help you if you have a cheap Chinesium screw you're going to strip. So.
This is pretty incredible. It is a plate adapter system, so you're going to have different plates. This is an RMR, and I think this is what they're coming with currently. But man, I saw that.
I just love that we're geeking out on this.
Dude, I saw that. I looked at it, and I was like, they didn't. I think I even walked over to you. I was like, dude, you got to see these screws.
We should just do a review on screws.
On screws.
Yes.
So I was really, really cool. It does come with 3-dot sights for those of you that are weird and don't like red dots. I don't carry one.
I'm a purist.
But ultimately, like I said, I do think that the gun was really, really cool. I did shoot it with gloved hands like a weirdo. For those of you that want to do that, the trigger guard is plenty generous for you to be able to get your finger in there. And then one-handed shooting, it didn't feel snappy. I sometimes have that complaint the smaller the guns get. I think in this form factor, you're probably not going to have any issue with it.
I was able to shoot it with ease, one-handed
Yeah.
as well.
And
both hand off and strong.
So I don't it's a winner. There it is.
There you
go
go.
and go look at me. But most of you guys will not have gotten a chance to go shoot it. Hopefully you can start to see these things proliferate out into some gun ranges so you guys can get some range time. But give me your comments in the comment section below if you guys have any feedback on this or actually get a chance to see it. They will be at SHOT Show. I believe for the privileged few, they get to
By
go
the
to
time
that.
we launch this video, they should have their website up, so we will link it down
Yep.
below. I believe it's just rostmartin.com. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, so if I am, Bobby will fix that for you.
But if you are a hardcore thread goer from ARFCOM and are like America made or nothing, maybe there's a pistol here for you.
Boom.
If you guys are here and lovers of the great state of Texas, this is also one of the very few handguns that are there, and probably one of the most affordable that's domestically produced that I think is actually really crushing it. And I'm glad you brought up that point. It didn't feel cheap for being.
Not at all.
I don't know that $400 or like in between $400 to $450 is cheap per se. I get it. We have like $2,000 handguns up there, but for someone that shot those, this didn't bother me at all. Which normally I will have something to complain about ergonomically outside of the grip. But I'm excited for that. If you guys have some feedback, put it in the comment section below. How do they find you, Jerah?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at Clearing the Chamber.
She does cool stuff like shooting and is at times more interesting than us. If you guys want to find us on socials, we are at AR15com. You guys can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or X, depending on your flavor.
Jump into our Discord so you can yell at Bobby and Josh because I won't respond.
Yeah, he won't. So Discord's going to be in the comment section below. And more than anything, support our sponsors because it's the only reason we can do this, and support the companies that are creating the products that are allowing you to celebrate and exercise your Second Amendment rights.
Until next time.
I've been assailed.